good afternoon, good evening. God bless you. My name again is Pastor Yemi Omogboyega, your good friend. Um, Thank you for patronizing my channel again. I really appreciate your patronage. Thank you indeed. I just opened um, my channel now only to discover that more people have subscribed. How glad am I? I'm so glad that you did. We are counting down to 1,000 for us to be able to do live shows on um, YouTube. I still prefer this YouTube in terms of live shows. That's why I'm so bad. I can do live on Facebook without hitting um, 1,000 members. That notwithstanding, I prefer to do it here. I share to Facebook, I share to other platforms. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful. I know we shall be there very soon. I know, like I said, it's not your fault at all. It's not as if you don't want to. It's just because I didn't take it seriously before, and now it's now that I'm appreciating the reality that I really need large crowd to be able to reach out to wider audience. Now, the topic I'm about to talk on now is sorry about that. So, like I said, I'm going to talk on Aunty Aduni versus Dr. Apoki. It is a distraction. Aunty Aduni versus Apoki's um I don't want to use quarrel or saga, whatever you call it. Dr. Apoki talked about Aunty Aduni. Aunty Aduni replied, and you understand what I mean. And the comments in the various pages, you will see that, it wasn't pleasant. So I call it a distraction. Dr. Aunty Aduni versus Dr. Apoki. A distraction. So, or as many of us as possible would have known Aunty Aduni. Her experiences, which she has been sharing everywhere. Experience is the best teacher. Anybody can interpret it anyway, anyhow. And you cannot take the story of somebody away from that person. And you may look at it from a distance and be able to place what he or she is saying as whether it is out of bias or like this matter. Dr. Apoki said Aunty Aduni was speaking out of bitterness. I mean, just like yesterday, can you date now? 20. Only yesterday. Let me get the date. 28. Yes, only yesterday I recorded 28th of October 2024. I posted a video, advising bloggers, particularly those of us who have had experiences with religious organizations and who are speaking out our minds to talk about the issue and and stop focusing on abusing, cursing, and so on and so forth. And I use two people as wonderful examples. I used is it two now? Three. I used Aunty Aduni. I used Awikoko, and I used Dr. Apoki. In addition to that, I used myself as an example. The four of us, we all have different perspectives to this matter. But one thing that I advised against is that we should not, we should chase the substance and not the shadows. The substance is the fact that we need to liberate people from religious oppression, both the young and the old, especially the generations after us, the youths of today. And those of us who are already inside, we should be wise as not to be deceived anymore under the camouflage of religion. Religion has been has battered us, has destroyed destinies. Many people died. You know that ignorance is the mother of all failures. Ignorance is the mother of everything. If all of us knew better, and to God be the glory, I'm somebody that has the nature of being inquisitive. Anything I'm doing, I question. And that has helped me a lot to make a headway in life. Religion would have made me to miss my mark on marriage. Religion would have made me to miss my mark on academics, on career. Religion would have even made me to miss my mark because of the emotional sentiments surrounding it. To miss my mark in terms of making heaven. But thank God, because I have inquisitive mind, I'm where I am today. And let me first of all address what touched Aunty Aduni. Please, please, if you know Aunty Aduni's line, please tag her. Send this message to her. If you have Dr. Apoki's line, please send this message to her, to him. I myself, I have Dr. Apoki's number. And I am one of his yet to be. I'm working on that now. Mentees, because I have seen that God is using him and his life is a reflection, a true reflection of what all of us should know so that we don't run into trouble. I congratulate him for being who he is today. I thank God for his life. And then in the life of Aunty Aduni, thank God both of us we have been to Redeem. And Redeem is a reflection. You know, Redeem is the biggest church in the Pentecostal movement. So it's a good thing that we both experienced, or Awikoko also. The three of us have experienced Redeem. We've tasted Redeem. I must tell you, Redeem is bitter. It's not, the name of the church does not reflect the practices that are inside, does not reflect Christianity that we profess to do. So if anybody says I'm embittered now, I will say, yes, I am embittered. In fact, the video I did yesterday, I referred to Aunty Aduni as one of those who had been embittered by the practices in Redeem. I am personally embittered. Awikoko is highly embittered. Dr. Apoki is not part of us. So he's talking as a moderator. He's talking as somebody, he's an outsider. I am embittered. But I've forgiven you. One thing is to be embittered. Another thing is to forgive and you go ahead. So when I use the word embitter, if there's anything like embitterment, I know what I'm saying. I meant I am pained. maybe we should substitute the word bitterness, from that. Maybe that's the one that actually made Aunty Aduni to react the way she did. Yeah, that's the one. You see, Yoruba will say, sọ̀rọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀, ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀, kó rántí ẹni tó ń gbọ́. With the position that Aunty Aduni is with her story, you see, anything that referred to religion, not just RCCG. RCCG is just a medium that conveyed the wickedness of religion to us all. It is. And so the reaction will differ. I think what annoyed Aunty Aduni is to say that she's embittered. Is for want of language. Let me use the word pained. Just as I am pained, just as every other person that has been frustrated by this church is pained, only to discover. Like I said, all of us in my generation who are in that church, who have discovered there's one book that we used during our Bible college days in Redeem. It is titled Congro-Maniscopalism. Congro-Maniscopalism. You see, that one is telling you that to say that there is no politics in the church is a lie. That we should accept that reality, that there is politics in the church. And that politics you cannot take away. If there is any place that thing has manifested so well, it is the Redeemed Christian Church of God. I don't mince words at all. So I think anywhere, let me advise Aunty Aduni, please get this message across to her. Anywhere, anytime anybody use the word embittered, I told you I used it yesterday for you. I used it for me, I used it for Awikoko. That word embitter is not to slight you. It's not to slight you. For instance, I use it now to express what you experienced, the pains, the agonies. But thank God that God fought for you. And you are out of the mess. So you are no longer embittered because God has fought for you. I think that's what you are saying. It is not, the pain is over. You've crossed the bridge and the bridge has been broken. And may you and any of us never return to that place again. Even the bridge has been broken. So there is no way to cross there again, from generation to generation. And now, what came out of it is your passion, is the empathy that you have, that ẹni tó jìn sí kòtò, ó kọ́ ará yòókù lọ́gbọ́n. He that falls into a ditch passes a lesson to others so that they don't fall. That is those others who are wise, because those who are not wise will still be there. As we are talking now, the people still think that we are biased against anything. No. So when anybody uses that language, don't worry. They are just saying that the pains that you went through, the pains that I, Yemi Omogwega, pastor, former pastor of Edidi, went through, the pains, the feelings that Awikoko had, that it made him to be raining curses, abuses, everything on them. So that let that be. It's not to slight you.
It's just for want of appropriate word. We can say, okay, you are speaking out of bias. If I say so, I am speaking out of bias. And bias is born out of my experience. And if I'm not biased, who will be biased? That you misled me, and you made me to be misleading others. That I have to be apologizing to them. Thank God I have the opportunity. What about those who died and never knew had the opportunity? So that is part of it. I apologized to members of my congregation. I apologized to my own children because there is nothing wrong leading your children to God. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train your child the way he should go, and so that they will not depart from it when they grow up. Yes, that's the right thing if you lead them to God. I didn't make that mistake. But out of my ignorance, I was trying to lead them to God through Redeemed Christian Church of God that I found to be defective. I don't want to be bitter again. So that, you see, trying to moderate. Don't want to be bitter. So I had to come back to them, apologize. So you are now adults. I can't force you, but open your eyes. Shine your eyes. Especially those of you who are pastors. Don't pursue the vision of other people at the detriment of your own vision. So that's the best I can do. It is left for them to decide. In as much as I don't want my children not to be serving God, to know God, I don't want them to be misled either by religion. So that by the time they are 60 something like myself, then they will come back and say, our daddy has misled us. Me, I've washed myself clean. No, it is left for them. Serve your God without destroying your destiny. To God be the glory also. That's why, if there's anything I respect so much in the life of Dr. Apoki, God has given him that vision. He's somebody like me. He thinks out of the box. He left the assemblies of God to form a church. And he discovered that the way things will go, he too will fall victim of what other churches are doing, especially temptation for money. He wanted to make his own money in a clean way. Today, to God be the glory. He's making his money in a clean way, and everybody knows he's making it from TikTok. Do you think it is easy? Each time now I just laugh. I only came across Dr. Apoki about 4 months ago. I have never in my life come across him. I just tapped one day, and this guy started speaking, and from then I've been probing into him. He's my twin brother, because thank God, the same age bracket. And from what is coming out, I can see that, you see, the difference between Aunty Aduni and Dr. Apoki is that it's like two people looking at different parts of an elephant and describing it. Dr. Apoki is now a member of Redeem, so he didn't know the in-depth. But what God did for him, which he didn't know, was the fact that God had liberated him from what Aunty Aduni experienced. I bet you, if Dr. Apoki had been even in the assemblies of God or in Redeem, he wouldn't be what God has made him to be today. Because his future, what he is today, would have been subsumed under the indoctrination of the church. Have you not heard that you cannot have a ministry within a ministry? Have you not heard that once you join a church, you cannot come out unless they give you the release? As if when you are coming in, you got released. They say, come and know, accept the Lord your God as your and the Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior. You came in voluntarily when you are going out. And you came in and you, because of your zeal, you want to serve God, you became a worker, you became a pastor, and then you want to go out, they say no. And they will put placing curses on you that if you go, you won't prosper. Have you not heard? I heard that from Daddy Adeboye, that if you leave, there was a time we are in the Redeemed camp, and he said, all those who want to leave should come to one side. Those who didn't want to leave should be on the one side. And that if you belong to the group that wants to leave, you are free to leave. But we will keep the door open for you for another 1 year. So that if you want to come back, you can come back. If you don't want to come, if once it is 1 year, the door is shut against you. What is the meaning of that? Did they tell us that when we were coming in? Even when we said we gave our life to Christ, did they tell us that if we want to leave, within 1 year we can leave? Did they tell us that? Why is it that when we want to leave now, maybe God called you? I'm not talking of dissidents. There are some people who doesn't see anything good in what the churches are doing or pastors are doing. Those who are critics without, or destructive critics. Leadership has flaws. It's a different thing. But there are fundamental flaws that can destroy the destinies of others. That is the one we need to be careful about. But those who, that no matter what you do, they will still complain. So, did they give us notice that we have come into Christ too? If you want to leave, leave before 1 year. If you leave that time, we won't even follow you up. Whereas, if anybody leaves, they will follow him up to the point that he comes back. Why is it that we must be giving? I mean, this is cultism. And they will police you. It's either they send somebody to you to be monitoring you. Just like before, Awikoko will bear me witness. If you belong to Redeem, Awikoko was in Jesus' Chancery, I was there. We don't know ourselves. Even up till now. If you know Awikoko's number, please send this message to him also. Very important. I was there when Pastor Ologbese said they were sending spies to the church to confirm whether truly the membership they claim to have was not overbloated. They were not complaining of the amount that is coming in. No. In order to pull the pastor down, they want to check if he's a liar. But the amount that is coming in, that one is not disputable. People are undoing themselves there. When Pastor Ologbese left, I was one of those who said he was overambitious, that he should have waited. But he knew whosoever God has called, let them go. It's a religious bondage. I remembered I was at Ado Ekiti when Pastor Kalejaye came to preach during one of Daddy's visitations in one of the, is it December or January? I can't remember now. One of the years. He said, well, I have had offers to leave this church. I would have left if I had wanted to. But I resisted the various temptations to go. What is that? He was in captivity. That's not part of ministration. He had to chip it in. Now, everybody knew Daddy Kalejaye to be one man one redeem. We had Kalejaye, Baba Kalejaye himself is another ministry, inside ministry in Abule Odu. He was as popular as Ade Adeboye in that at Abule Odu. He has retired now. It's not all about bread and butter. But that expression he gave there is to say that he was in bondage. He couldn't leave. If he had left today, it's not for the fame of it. If God had given him a release, he left. I'm not blaming him for not leaving, because not all of us can really run a church in the real sense of running a church, because without running into the troubles that those who are there running into. Not all of us. If he felt he could not and he didn't go, fine. But if he had wanted to go, but because of the ministrations and all these experiences that people have had in Redeem and he could not go, that's bondage. So they must have truncated his destiny. Apoki left. It started a church. He discovered he could not run it because of the demands. We started a church. I discovered that I will run into the same temptations that the churches of the old are running into, that they will now say it's because they cursed you, it's because they didn't pray for you, it's because they didn't release you. Lie. Church administration has its own challenges that it's only those who are gifted that can survive it. But they will claim it that it's because you left their church. That's why your church is not prospering. No, it is foolishness. It is wrong indoctrination. It is because you cannot cope with the challenges. Because one, you need so much money to run it yourself. Because nobody will give you money at first. Nobody. And the ministry is uppermost in my mind, the deliverance of the people from bondage. And then two, people knowing God is important to me. They are making a name as a church leader. Then I intensified the online ministry, which is costing me nothing other than my phone and my data. I'm able to settle for that now, while I'm still working on the other one, because that one will come in so slow. So it is not because I left RCCG that I cannot do that. The demands of that thing is not ordinary, it's big. If care is not taken, I too will be demanding for tithes. I will be demanding for I will come and say, come and pay for every year that the Lord has spared your life. God will be working. I will be collecting the money. I will be raising the invoices to you. I'm not interested in that. So people should serve God according to their ability. Now, Dr. Apoki had to hand over the church to the assemblies of God. It is good he was able to do that because he left not the way we left, not the way Aunty Aduni left, not the way I left RCCG. He left to start a church on his own. Maybe with or without the knowledge of his oga, late Papa Idahosa. But he found that he could not do it, he went back. But our own case is different. Our own case is the fact that we saw the flaws of the church. We saw that they are the opposite of what they profess to be. Holy, 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 holy. We found that we are not judging them. Take note. We didn't see the holiness in them. we see the wickedness, manifest wickedness. We see robbery. We see manipulation. We see cajoling. We see people's destiny being destroyed. We see the evils. Bible says, by their fruits you shall know them. We see the evils they are perpetrating against humanity. What is even more, I later discovered that they are mere spiritual entertainers. We see falsehood, fake miracles, just to make money. We see them as money mongers. They don't mind if you die. You saw all the examples that Aunty Aduni was giving. Ayoka's case, many cases like that. I myself that I'm here, the way Redeem frustrated me, even after I had retired, I served to the best of my ability. I voluntarily stepped down when I saw that things were not done in the way the Lord wanted it. The lies they want us to be peddling about tithing. Where is the repentance? We are still talking of 10%, and you say you can even give up to 50%. In this day, insensitivity, we see wickedness, we see insensitivity. By now, churches should not emphasize money at all to their members. We see all those things. So we left there in pains. Then we are concerned that it shouldn't happen to the next generation. It shouldn't happen. And we started a campaign. Aunty Aduni's experience is real. There's nobody that will experience that thing. Forgiveness is one thing. You forgive. But forgiveness does not mean that you should allow evil to continue. Redeem has no empathy, and it's a reflection of the leadership. Once the money is not there, nothing gets done. I knew how much I had to squeeze myself. They say we are giving target. Yes. Are we not giving budget? Who will not be giving? As at the time I left that place, our own budget for my area there was about 100 and something thousand in Ekiti. And I will pay 50% of it, expecting the others to contribute when they don't have. And this was the time that they were not earning salaries for months. And I started raining abuses and curses on them. May God forgive me again. I've asked for apologies. I will be doing all that, saying all that. Adding to their pains, adding to their sorrows. This is that things we saw. You don't know Redeem until you have something to take from them. You don't. Why is it that it is easier for them to take than to give? In 2 Corinthians chapter 8, not relevant to them, distributing to people according to their needs. Gather all the monies together. Distribute to people according to their needs. Is it not part and parcel of the Bible? Is 2 Corinthians chapter 9 not part of the Bible? Verse 7 that says you should give according to as you purpose in your heart voluntarily. Is it not part of the Bible? Where does the ministration that if you don't give, you won't make heaven come from? Is the Hebrew 7 we always talk about, which is what makes the distinction between the Old and the New Testament. Not part of the Bible. One day, you see, dishonesty. These are our GOs. Why can't they come and teach us Hebrew 7? While they are teaching us Malachi 3, 8 to 10, that Hebrews 7 has erased verse 5. When you were paying the tithe, you were paying it according to the law. But the law has been erased now, has been jettisoned. Moses' order has been erased. All the laws have been said to be faulty and replaced. And you come back to that place and you are reeling out curses, abuses, anything, and you are using it to determine the heavens that they will go. Wickedness. Those are the things that we saw that made us to be campaigning. The same thing. Now, Dr. Apoki, even though he did not experience what we experienced, the video I released yesterday, I used his video. I hope you will see it. And I'm taking that permission in arrears now, because I hardly use people's videos. But to buttress my point in a positive sense, he was practically abusing all our leaders, including religious leaders, who made this nation to go backward as it is now today. Is he not fighting for the next generation? At least our generation, we've struggled. God helped us. But is he not fighting for the next generation? Is Aunty Aduni, myself, Awikoko, are we not fighting for the next generation? At least if it has happened to us, it shouldn't happen to the next generation. I don't want it to happen to my children. I don't want to be held in religious bondage. I don't want the destiny of my grandchildren and great-grandchildren from generation to generation to be frustrated. I don't. I don't. I don't want it. And I don't want it for others. The youths today that are protesting, that are being killed, is it not the happenings in the country that led them to it? Without these our leaders boasting, boasting that we are doing everything, we are owning airport without borrowing a couple, we are building cathedrals without owning a couple. What is the purpose of that? The life of people who are suffering, from whom you collected money. I don't want my children to be affected that way. We had targets, both when I was in Bagada, Light of Light Parish, Bagada, phase 1. Our assistant pastor, one of our assistant pastors, let me just not use his name, got into conflict with our area pastor. When the issue of target brings so number of souls came. Unfortunately, this assistant pastor was not working, so his life depended mostly on the church. A Joseph came that told him, go and work. You cannot be here and be somebody in life. Go and work. It became a problem. Number 2, when he now came up with order from above that you have to bring number of converts to the church, he now began to question, is this how church is? It became a big problem. Got to a point that we finished a crusade one day. A kind of fracas came that in the public there, abuses were reigned between the assistant pastor and the leadership. area pastor's wife, everybody. What is the cause of all these things? The seed that the church has sown. Are we lying? I knew how much under their inhuman doctrines They frustrated my son's marriage. But God raised the standards above them, that people who would have respected the church and would have recommended the church started saying, if your church is like this, we will never step into it again. We will is this how your church is? So wicked. In the day of your joy, they are doing this to you, you that you are an area pastor. Or is it the provincial pastor that was defending his Gary? As he would say, I will never, it's my Gary, oh, my Gary. Oh. We did 4 pregnancy tests. They did 2. I did 2. One of them was reading positive, which they manufactured. The second one of them was reading negative. The 2 of our own, on the day of wedding, was reading negative. Where did they get their results from? And the person doing the test, was somebody that they hired. And then you are telling me, let's not go there. Redeemed Church, forget about the name. Oh. The Redeemed Christian Church of God. It has become, they redeem nothing. They are killers of destiny. Killers of destiny. All the youths, they are parading around that, we don't. They got to the point that you have to marry from the church. That's what they are saying. That's the next level they got to before I left. Hey, look at them. Don't you have women here? Don't have younger, beautiful ladies here? What the CAC of those days were preaching. If God did not liberate us from them. So what are we talking about? The message I'm passing here is that what is happening between Dr. Apoki and Aunty Aduni is a distraction. We should stop being distracted. Let us focus on that which is uppermost in our hearts. Let us campaign. Dr. Apoki is doing it. Aunty Aduni is doing it. Awikoko is doing it. In my little way, I'm doing it. If you look at my subscription base, just less than it's less than 500. If you want to use that to judge, you say, this man. I wasn't even keen on all this popularity or whatever. I wasn't even promoting anything. It's only now that I'm saying subscribe well, this and that. And why am I now campaigning that you subscribe more? I'm campaigning so that we can reach out to more people. There are many souls to be saved. There are many destinies to be freed. Even those of us who are still this age, we are still recovering from the negative impact that religion placed on us. But should we not serve God again? No, serve God. Read the Bible. Like Dr. Apoki will say, this is what I've said several times. We are this frustrated because we didn't have the understanding of the Bible ourselves. Let us begin to preach and teach the Bible. I've taken it upon myself. If you check my channel now, you will see the one I call Family Devotional. I go through the Bible page by page, chapter by chapter, sentence by sentence, bringing out the messages myself. It was one of these processes that I discovered all the fallacies they have been teaching us. I've read the Bible over and over again in my early ages, but not with understanding. Did I not read Hebrews 7 then? Did I understand it? And in all the colleges I went in Redeem, were we taught the difference between the Old and the New Testament? What should be the practice today? Were they not drumming Malachi 3:8-10? In CAC, there is this song. Sàìdámẹ́wàá àṣẹ Olúwa ni. Málákì orí kẹta ẹsẹ̀ kẹjọ dẹsẹ̀ kẹwàá. Má ṣe jẹ́ ọlọ́run, not knowing that it is the product they are selling. It is it is the most budgetable item, followed by first fruit. And then they will come and heap all the donations of this world. It is in Redeem that witchcraft is practiced most. If they see you putting on neat dresses, they assume that you are rich, and everybody will be rallying around you. The pastors, everybody will be running around you. Daddy, 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 we have this project. It's you that we are looking up to. It is this. Okay, the translation of that song is, say, pay your tithe. It is, what do you call it now? Ashe, what is Ashe now? It is God's commandment. God bless you. It is God's commandment. That Malachi 3, 8 to 10 tells us to do so. Do not rob God. Not knowing that they themselves are the robbers. They are robbing the people. So, it's a distraction. Please. I'm happy the way that Aunty Aduni ended the video. It's okay. I mean, she has said it, she's not bitter. I myself that I'm here. Eh? I am bitter. Bitter with the wickedness. I am bitter that I'm asked to preach heresy. But did I forgive them? I forgive them. I've left them, and mine is to correct it and make sure that I do not push the bitterness to the next generation. And I do not, what they did that made me to go bitter, I don't want it to happen to them. I have forgiven. You see, forgiveness, the scars are there. It's not as if, the thing is that today, I will not abuse that the other way. I will not cause it. I will not do anything. But, because judgment belongs to God, I won't. It's not ethical. Traditionally, culturally, religiously, it's not ethical. Baba is 15 years my senior. Èmi náà fẹ́ dàgbà kí n darúgbó. So I must not dishonor. Let what they did follow them. But we must not encourage that they continue to do it. At least previously they were displaying it on television. Today they say it's left for their children in their own enclaves. Yeah, let it be there. And God will liberate those ones that have been there. Send our messages to those who are young. The protest. Look, a time is coming. These GOs, the youth, I'm not seeking popularity. They don't reply. Go to hell. They won't reply. They won't reply. Because there's no way they can justify the evils they are doing. There's no way. It will expose them the more. You will think that is it humility? It's not humility. They have done enough of it. But those of us who won't take it anymore and will campaign for the liberation of the precious souls from this generation and beyond. The Church of God can never be the same again. It is not because people are backsliding. It is because people have discovered the lying spirits and their strategies with which they are destroying destinies instead of building destinies, with which they are making people to run away from God instead of moving closer to God. It is food for thought. And the campaign is on the rising. Let us sustain it. The best way, whatever way you know to do it, but not to abuse. Don't curse. Don't do anything. It's God that has judgment. If you want to do that, if you are cursing the white people till tomorrow, will it do anything to you? It won't, until you sit down and liberate yourself. And people are liberating themselves. So those who are liberating themselves, or who are already liberated, should not face themselves and be exchanging bitterness. No. I think I've said something. Chase the substance. not the shadows. Continue in your good campaigns. Continue. It is paying off and it will continue to pay off. God bless you. Please do not forget. You know now that I'm now campaigning for subscription. Please subscribe. Very well. Subscribe very well. We need it now to be able to reach to wider audience, especially the younger generation. God bless you. Have a very wonderful day. Pass your comments and then have a wonderful time.